Sudamérica cuenta con una enorme y variada naturaleza, la cual es rica en yacimientos mineros. Este hecho hace de que sea favorable el establecimiento de industrias mineras en la región, las cuales traen consigo billones de dólares en inversiones y puestos de trabajo, así como también ingresos en impuestos para el país anfitrión. Para llevar a cabo las operaciones de minería de clase mundial, toma muchos años de estudios científicos, millones de dólares en inversión y mucho apoyo y seguridad por parte de los gobiernos a los inversores. Sin todo esto, no puede existir la industria minera. Datos proporcionados por la Comisión Económica para América Latina y el Caribe, CEPAL, indican que el incremento económico mundial, sumado al avance tecnológico de los países referentes de la industria minera, den como resultado un crecimiento significativo a partir de la segunda mitad del siglo pasado para la producción minera. Todo proyecto minero pasa por etapas esenciales, las cuales consisten en la prospección, exploración y explotación minera. Según la Ley 3180/2007 de minería, se consideran prospección a la búsqueda de indicios de áreas mineralizadas, exploración a los trabajos conducentes a la determinación del tamaño y forma del yacimiento, así como el contenido y calidad del mineral en él existente. La exploración incluye también la evaluación económica del yacimiento y explotación al conjunto de operaciones, trabajos y labores mineras destinados a la preparación y desarrollo de la extracción de sustancias minerales y su refinación y comercialización. En estos momentos, Latin American Minerals Paraguay Sociedad Anónima cuenta con los permisos para desarrollar las etapas de prospección y exploración en algunas áreas, además de una concesión por Ley 2079/2003, transferida por Minera Guairá en el 2010 por 6.700 hectáreas, en las que pueden realizar exploraciones y la explotación en sí.
Los relevamientos geológicos son planificados y desarrollados de acuerdo a metodologías sistemáticas propias del LAT. Estos nosotros los realizamos en el campo a través de muestreos de suelo, rocas, sedimentos, y lo que se realiza más en detalle son las de los muestreos sistemáticos de trinchera, de calicata y las de perforaciones diamantinas profundas.
Puntualmente, en lo que respecta a la mina Independencia, situada en las 6.700 hectáreas concesionadas, la empresa viene llevando a cabo con sus geólogos la determinación de áreas de interés para la realización de perforaciones diamantinas cuyos testigos, posterior al análisis in situ, son enviados a laboratorios certificados en el exterior, ya que Paraguay aún no cuenta con uno para desempeñar estudios específicos. Con los resultados obtenidos se determinan las zonas de interés y se modela la misma de modo a realizar las planificaciones de minado para enviar el material a la planta de procesamiento.
Este es un plano original, el del inicio del montaje del área de explotación del LAT. Este diseño fue hecho por un ingeniero de minas de Bolivia. Y esto se diseñó a base de los resultados de los trabajos específicos de muestreos de trincheras y de los resultados laboratoriales de los pozos profundos. Entonces se diseñó por niveles, los valores de los resultados geoquímicos. A través de ellos se hizo un modelo de bloques que definió el modelo también del área de explotación. Entonces esto se hizo de acuerdo a esos resultados geoquímicos. En este caso nuestro prospecto es el mineral aurífero, que es el oro, ¿verdad? Y de acuerdo a los valores arrojados por los resultados geoquímicos de los muestreos de trincheras y los pozos profundos, se realizó este modelo de explotación. Se ubican los pozos y se ubican los collares de los pozos con una dirección, con una inclinación, de acuerdo a que se corte toda la estructura, que es el dique, ¿verdad?, que nosotros tenemos. Entonces, lo tenemos, acá ustedes pueden ver. Entonces esto se muestrea, se manda al laboratorio y se obtienen los resultados geoquímicos.
En la planta de procesamiento se inicia la obtención del oro a través del sistema de separación por gravedad. Con este sistema se busca extraer oro de las colas, llamadas también relaves, ya que éstas aún cuentan con restos de mineral aurífero.
Anteriormente acá había una planta que usó solo un sistema de gravedad para separar el oro desde el mineral. Y por eso no era muy eficiente. Entonces, en nuestras colas, las colas son un material que están con esta minería. Sacas la mineral desde la cantera, pones en la planta, sacas el oro y el parte de suelo y arena y polvo, los residuos exactamente, se llaman las colas. Pero para nosotros, nuestras colas todavía tienen oro. Y por eso vamos a reprocesar esas colas. Por los últimos como 6 o 8 meses hemos rediseñado nuestra planta y nuestro proceso. Así podemos reprocesar esas colas.
The process begins with the freshwater source behind us here. The water is pumped from the pump float down below up through this pipeline and through the hoses, which together wash the tailings that we're reprocessing into a sump, which is pumped up to the process plant. It's probably important to point out that all of the water here is completely recycled. In other words, after the process is finished, the water is returned back to this pond, so it stays in continuous recycle. The tailings that we have here in front of us are historic tailings from previous operations and still contain reasonable amounts of gold that can be extracted by the process that we're now using. These are historic tailings that were left behind by a previous operation, and they still contain some gold, as do many tailings around this area, which can be the gold can be successfully extracted by the process that we are currently establishing. Two blue hoses behind us here will be connected to hydraulic monitors, and the tailings will be washed into a sump, which is movable as we excavate further along the old tailings pond here. The process is quite simple. It's really moving the tailings by water to the sump and then pumping up to the process plant. Almost all of the things that you see here, other than the pipe itself, we've had to actually manufacture on site simply because there's not enough industrial infrastructure, or at least related to mining, existent in Paraguay, so it's necessary for us to actually manufacture these individual parts ourselves. The items, for example, this pipe manifold and the attachment for the pipe manifold were made here on site, and in some instances manufactured by industries in Asunción. But we make as many of the items as we can here on site because of the transportation distance and the expense. But as you can see by the workers around us here, there are many, many jobs being provided by this operation. The tailings deposit right here represents about 80,000 tons, which is approximately 3 months of operation for the process plant. Following that, there are several 100,000 tons of stockpile above the plant that will be processed. And in addition, we will be able to take and successfully process tailings from other deposits where previous miners have not been able to fully extract the gold. We think there's a very good economic opportunity, both for them and for us, to reprocess the tailings that the gold can't be reached by artisanal means. So from the tailings pond down below, the material is pumped up through this black pipe, enters the log washer, or sometimes called a spiral classifier, and the coarse material is advanced by the screw up to the screening plant, and the water and the fines then come out through this green pipe and discharge back down to the tailings pond for complete recycle of water. Back to the tailings pond, and the coarse material, which is the washed material, is advanced up by the screw, and the coarse feed then drops into the screening plant, which separates plus 2 millimeter from minus 2 millimeter. So the minus 2 millimeter then goes down to the first step in the gravity process plant. The oversized material, which is too coarse to move through the gravity separator, comes out this chute here, which will be connected with a launder and a sluice to capture any particles of coarse gold. So the fine material, that is the material that's less than 1 millimeter in particle size, comes down through the tube and enters the first centrifugal gravity concentrator. The concentrator is a batch process, but it's automatically scheduled. So it quickly, in about 30 seconds, dumps its concentrate into this bowl pump. And that bowl pump then pumps it up to the concentrate storage area. And then the tailings from the first concentrator go into this sump, and they're pumped around back up to the second concentrator. So there are 2 centrifugal concentrators in series. And the tailings from the second concentrator go to the green tank over here, which then conducts them out to the vats. The concentrate from the second concentrator also go into this bowl pump and are pumped up to the concentrate storage tank. lime, there's lime that is added to the gravity tailings, and it'll be pumped by this small pump here into this agitated tank, and that then will mix the lime, and this will pump the gravity tailings through the line out to the vats. These are the automatic controls that control the gravity concentrators with respect to their rotational speed, their water pressure, and also controls when they flush the concentrate automatically. And if you can see out here, there are solenoid valves on all the pipes so that they open and close automatically as programmed by the system here. This is a fairly common installation built by Isopro Mineral Systems. They have installations around the world in many countries and are quite effective at recovering fine gold. The particular aspects of this plant are that it's extra fine gold, and so the parameters are set up a bit differently for this operation, but the equipment is all standard. From the gravity tailings, they are pumped in to fill each vat one at a time in sequence, and then the chemicals to cause the dissolution of gold are added, and in that tower on the other end of the vat there is a pump, and it pumps around and recirculates the material through these lines here, so that the boundary layer is broken and everything comes in contact with the solution to dissolve the gold. So as I mentioned, there's a submersible pump here, which is lowered down, will be lowered down in this pump well, and that will cause the entire volume of solution and solids to be recirculated from this end of the vat to that end of the vat, where the two brown discharge pipes come back in. And the net effect of that is to constantly mix the materials, solids and solution, so that the solution has a chance to dissolve the very fine remaining particles of gold. Once the leaching process is ended, then material is completely flushed with clean water, and will be pumped again by the same pump into a tailings discharge line, which goes back into our contained facility for, again, complete recycle of material. So it's worth noting that each vat is lined first with cement, roller compacted cement, so it's sealed to begin with, and then in addition the high density polyethylene liner is placed over the top, and as you can see here in the trench, it's folded over and turned down to keep the liner itself from shifting. So the solution that overflows from the vats or flows through the decant pipes, the 4 decant pipes, comes down and flows into this pond. Now this solution has dissolved gold in it, which is very valuable. So it's important that we're very careful with handling this solution. The solution then gets pumped from this pump here up into the carbon columns, which we'll go see next. So the solution bearing gold is pumped from the pond down below through a series of pipes here and enters the carbon column, the first carbon column, through one of these pipes here at the bottom, and then it rises up through the first column and comes out the top, and then it goes down to the bottom of the second column and up through the top and so on through all 5 stages of carbon. And the purpose of the carbon is actually to load or to remove the gold from the solution. The gold physically is attracted to the carbon, and so when the solution comes out the other end, it goes to the so-called barren pond, which does not contain any gold anymore, to be pumped back to recirculate through the vats. So the carbon or the gold is actually deposited on the carbon. So from the gold actually comes into the finished product stream from 2 directions. First, the gravity concentrate produces fairly pure gold, which is finally separated from magnetite by another tertiary centrifugal process. And then the gold is actually smelted or refined by placing in a crucible and heating it to roughly 2,300 degrees centigrade, along with some various reagents that cause it to be liquefied and separate from the gold from the slag, which is then poured into a mold, and when it cools, the slag is broken away from the gold with just a hammer and chisel, and the result is a simple gold bar, just like you would ordinarily see. The second way gold comes into the finished product space is once the carbon is stripped from the gold bearing, the gold solution, then there's an electrowinning process by which an anode and a cathode are placed into a tank with the solution, and electricity or current is put through the solution, and the gold actually physically plates onto stainless steel wool, which is removed from the electrowinning tank, and then literally the gold is knocked off into a tank, and finally it undergoes a similar process to the gravity recovered gold, in that it is smelted with various fluxes and poured into bars. And the finished bar or the finished product then are what are called gold doré bullion bars, and those are shipped for export. There are any one of several refineries that accept gold, typically in Canada, North America, and Europe. Also the potential for shipping to India. And the actual transport of the gold from site to its ultimate destination is via armored car and air. The doré that's produced here at this site is typically an alloy of gold and primarily silver, and it's normally about, or is expected to be about 92 to 93% gold, and the balance would be silver and minor amounts of copper. From this location, it ships to a refinery, and the purpose of the refinery is to take it from its received form, say 92 or 93% gold, up to what's commonly called 3 nines gold, 0.999% gold by weight. That is the international standard for tradable gold, yes.